because you don't want to let negative emotions take over your life. If you allow the spiritual vampire in your space for too long, if you allow the spiritual vampires in your space for too long, they will suck your spiritual energy. Your ashe will be sucked. And this is why, black man and black woman, I know every once in a while a sister wants some icing on her cupcakes. I understand every once in a while a sister wants some icing on her cupcakes. Black man, I know every once in a while you want some cookies with your milk. I understand every once in a while a sister needs to get her cookies warmed up, and she need to get her cupcakes warmed up. And brothers, every once in a while you need some cupcakes and cookies with your milk. But I'm telling you, the quickest way to a spiritual depletion is to lay down with a wounded soul sexually. I said the quickest way to a spiritual depletion is to lay down with a wounded soul. And I'm gonna tell you what a spiritual sister once told me. She was an empath. She was one of my empathic readers that I would go to right here in Philadelphia. She was not a traditional African priest or priestess, but she was blessed with the ability to read and to communicate with the ancestors. And she told me, Dr. Umar, rest in peace to that sister. She said, Dr. Umar, you are a brother who was sent here to do a divine mission. She said, I don't care what anybody says about you. You were sent here with a supreme purpose. She said you were sent to this planet with a supreme purpose. And there's going to be women who come into your life who want to do nothing else but suck your energy. They want to drink from your spiritual power, not physically, spiritually. And you know what that sister told me? She said it would be in your best interest. Until you find the right woman, it will be in your best interest to wear a condom when you are intimate with your mate. She said, not for physical diseases. She said, I'm not talking about STDs. She said, I'm not talking about sexually transmitted diseases. She said, I'm talking about spiritually transmitted diseases. Talk to me, black family. How many of you have ever caught a spiritually transmitted disease by laying down with a wounded soul? Talk to me, black man. Talk to me, black woman. How many of you have caught a spiritually transmitted disease by laying down with the wrong energy? We got people walking around with STDs you can't get rid of. I said we got people walking around with STDs you can't get rid of. I said we got people walking around with STDs we can't get rid of. I'm not talking about gonorrhea. I'm not talking about chlamydia. I'm not talking about AIDS. I'm not talking about scabies and crabs and lice. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about spiritually transmitted diseases. I'm talking about spiritually transmitted diseases. They infect you with anger. They infect you with rage. They infect you with desperation. They infect you with depression. They infect you with low self-esteem. They infect you with loneliness. They infect you with their burdens. They infect you with their toxic experiences and their toxic emotions. We keep talking about sexually transmitted diseases. We better start talking about spiritually transmitted diseases. Ladies, make them put a raincoat on. You do not want that man shooting his spiritually toxic energy in your heaven. Black man, put the condom on. I know you want those cookies raw and uncut. I know you want those cupcakes raw and uncut. I know you want them cookies raw. But my brother, that woman will suck the spiritual life out of you. Put a condom on. If that person is spiritually wounded, you better put a condom on and let that plastic serve as a barrier between your soul and their soul, brothers and sisters. brothers and sisters, you have to meditate every day. You have to meditate every day. You have to meditate every day. You have to get quiet. Go into the sacred space of your inner self. You have to close the physical eye so your third spiritual eye will open. I said you have to close your two physical eyes so your third spiritual eye will open. Now, the third eye can be open when the physical eyes are open, but the third eye opens up and can see much better when the physical eyes are closed. I said your third eye can only experience 20/20 vision when the physical eyes are closed. I said the third eye can only see when the physical eye can no longer see. Understand, overstand, and understand me. Understand, overstand, and understand me. Understand, overstand, when your two physical eyes are open. When your two physical eyes are open, you are living in a world of illusion and distraction. See, how am I going to connect to my inner self if I'm looking at big, fat, juicy asses walking by? Black woman, how you going to connect to your inner self and you looking at broad shoulders and, handsome brothers walking by? You can't. You are constantly distracted by music and images and clothes and bodies and gossip and talk and socialization. You got to close your physical eye so your third eye can open. The third eye can't see perfectly until the physical eye is closed. I said your spiritual eye cannot see until your physical. That's why you got to get quiet. Close your eyes. I love closing my eyes. Let the conversation of the unconscious get quiet. Let all the thoughts and conversations you have in with yourself get quiet and listen to spirit. Now, guess what? We have 5 senses, don't we? We can see, we can hear, we can touch, we can taste, and we can smell. We can see with the physical eye. We can taste with the physical tongue. We can smell with the physical nose. We can feel with the physical hands. We can hear with the physical ear. But guess what? God has given all Africans, the original man and a woman, the Africoids. God has given the Africoid, the African, 4 spiritual senses. Most of you have not developed your 4 spiritual senses. And the reason you have not been able to develop your 4 spiritual senses is because you never take a break from using your 5 physical senses. I said most of us never develop our spiritual sense because we never take a break from our physical sense. Let me explain to you. What are the 4 spiritual senses? Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is the ability to see and receive through vision and dream future and current realities and the solutions for those future and current realities. The third eye is the channel of clairvoyance. You ever dreamt somebody was going to die? You ever dreamt somebody was pregnant? You ever saw a problem? You ever saw a problem before it happened? You ever saw a problem before it happened? You said, wait a minute, that came to me in my dream last night. I saw that I was going to have a boy before I even got pregnant. I knew my nephew was going to get shot if he went outside last night. I tried to keep him in the house. That is your clairvoyance. That is your third eye showing you the future before the future even gets here. But the problem is, most of us will only get a clairvoyant message once a year, once a month, once a birthday, once in a lifetime, once in a season, once in a decade, once in a generation. Brothers and sisters, you should be getting clairvoyant messages on a regular basis. They might not come every day, but you should be getting messages from spirit through your third eye all the time. The reason you're only getting them some of the time is you are not going into meditation to connect with the I am that I am. I said you are not meditating enough so you can get in contact with the I am that I am. We all are clairvoyant. The question is not whether you are clairvoyant. All Africans are clairvoyant because we are God's original people. We all have clairvoyance. The question is, has you developed it yet? The only question is, have you developed your clairvoyant ability? That is the only question. Are you meditating enough? You don't meditate in church, you pray. You don't meditate in the mosque, you pray. You don't meditate in the temple, the Jehovah Witness Hall, the Methodist Church. They don't do meditation, they do prayer. Prayer is important, but prayer is not sufficient. When you pray, you are petitioning God for something you need. When you pray, you are petitioning God for something that you need. When you meditate, you get quiet so God can communicate with you so you know how to get the needs met. I said prayer is the request, meditation is the answer. I said prayer is the request, meditation is the answer. I said prayer is the request, but if you don't meditate, brothers and sisters, you will never get the answer.
This is what I want to say to the African family live from Atlanta. This is what I want to say to the African family live from Atlanta. This is what I want to say to the African people live from Atlanta. Brothers and sisters, in the final days of the 2024 year, in the final days of the 2024 year, we need to do a deep dive spiritually. All Africans around the universe need to do a spiritual deep dive. Reclaim your purpose. Reclaim your destiny. Declare war on those unclean aspects of your character. Issue forgiveness bonds to everyone who has wronged you. Clear out your inner circle of spiritual vampires. Clear out your inner circle of spiritual vampires. Clear out your inner circle of all spiritual vampires. Go into the new year fresh. Go into the new year clean. Go into the new year redeemed. Don't take any baggage from 2024 into 2025. Don't take any baggage from 2024 into 2025. Don't take any baggage from 2024 into 2025. Whether that's friends, family, relationships, job, possessions, anything that is weighing you down needs to be discarded in the 2024 ash can of history. Anything that is weighing you down needs to be discarded by New Year's Day, brothers and sisters. Clean out your life. Clean out your relationships. Clean out your business, your debts, your bills, your house. Clean everything out. Go into the new year light. Some of y'all need to drop 1,000 pounds. You might need to drop 500 pounds. I'm not talking about physical weight. I'm talking about spiritual weight. I'm talking about psychological weight. I'm talking about emotional weight. Drop the weight, brothers and sisters. Drop the weight. Detox. Year in detox. It's time to detox, brothers and sisters. It's time to detox. But some of you won't be able to detox because of shame and guilt. Because of shame and guilt. Because of shame and guilt, some of you are going to take some of them toxic relationships into the new year. Some of those toxic bonds into the new year. Some of those toxic codependencies into the new year. Some of y'all going to carry some of that dead weight with you into the new year because you have been bullied by spiritual vampires. You have been bullied by spiritual vampires. You have been bullied by spiritual vampires into feeling guilty and shameful for wanting more out of life than they do. Some black women are being bullied by their spiritual vampire husband, baby daddy, fiance, because you want to grow and he don't want to grow. And he's telling you you wrong for trying to grow. And you're going to carry his toxic ass into the new year. Some of my African alpha males out there. Some of my black kings, my unapologetically African alpha, silverback Garvey gorillas. Some of y'all going to carry some toxic spiritual vampire women with you into the new year. You know she's not who you need. You know she's not what you need. But you feel guilty and you feel shameful. So you're going to carry all those toxic bonds into the new year, and you're going to start the new year the same way you ended the old year. You're going to start the new year the same way you ended the old year. You're going to start the new year the same way you ended the old year.